Hello there, Nova. And for those people out there who don't know you and what you do, can you tell us about yourself, please?
I can indeed. I'm Nova Fairbank. I'm the Chief Executive for Norfolk Chambers of Commerce. We are a 127-year-old business membership organisation whose mission is to connect, support and give voice to every business in Norfolk. We have a motto: what you need is what we do, so what do you need? And it's all about meeting the demands of the business community. We have a whole team dedicated to delivering to that need.
Fantastic, thank you. And with all of that experience of 127 years, Nova, wow, that's a long time, right? But with bringing all of that experience to bear, give us an insight into what's so great about doing and being a business in Norwich and Norfolk.
Okay, so anybody that lives in Norfolk knows it's an amazing place to live and work. We have big skies, beautiful countryside, amazing beaches, vibrant city, towns, market towns. But our business community, in my opinion, is the jewel in the crown. It's predominantly SME. It's very diverse and no one sector dominates. But we have places like the Norwich Research Park that's at the cutting edge. It's absolutely going to be looking at world-leading life sciences, agri-tech. We've got strong growth sectors, advanced manufacturing and engineering, a clean energy hub, as well as a strong, very old visitor economy, on top of the ICT Digital Fig Production and many others. But what makes all of that so special is how the Norfolk business community collaborates. It will use peer-to-peer learning and knowledge sharing to share and move forward on innovation and progress. So that is a fantastic starting point in which to introduce anything into the Norfolk business community.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, actually. And just if I may, can I just ask, why do you think it feels to me, as someone that obviously doesn't live in the region, but only over the border in Cambridgeshire?
We'll forgive you.
Thank you so much. I would love to be an honorary Norfolkian, if that's the right
Absolutely.
word. But why do you think that story of that vibrancy is pretty underrepresented, understated perhaps outside the region? What do you think that's about, Nova?
I think a lot of it is to do with the positioning of Norfolk. And if you look at the East, Norfolk and the Eastern region are net contributors to UK PLC, yet we are constantly overlooked because in the main of Cambridge, funding either goes into Cambridge or goes up north. So it is a needs must scenario. Businesses have to work together. You have to rely on your peers and your colleagues, and we have to lobby with one voice to achieve anything in our region, because we are so far behind. We're the only county in the whole of the UK that doesn't have a motorway, and we are struggling to get a dual carriageway. Majority of it is single carriageway. So things like that are challenges. We're a predominantly rural county. So in terms of accessing the heartland of Norfolk, accessing things like digital connectivity, huge amount of work has been done, but to bring us up to the level that most people started on 20 years ago. So it's bringing Norfolk up to the standards that everywhere else treat as the norm. So we have to be innovative. We have to work together. We have to push hard. And I think having a fintech cluster in this region will help us achieve some of that.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so you would see that having a fintech cluster will have some real benefits. Perhaps you can elucidate on that a little bit more. And then what I'd really like to get into as well is, you know, if the intention is to build that cluster, what are the things that you would be saying, please do, and please don't? So that first question, the benefits that you can see of a cluster.
All right. I mean, we have some amazing tech businesses already in Norfolk. We've got a gaming cluster that's growing. We've got lots of opportunities. If you look at Norfolk and Suffolk, for instance, you've got BT Martlesham over the border. There's opportunities to collaborate there. We have the perfect sort of triangle of growth if we want to add value to it. In terms of what we do with that voice at the moment, not enough. We need people or an entity to get behind, so everybody within the sector is singing off the same hymn sheet, that we are lobbying loud with one voice for the East, for investment into our region, for support for innovation and growth, to nurture our startups, because if you look at a lot of the tech businesses, they are literally coming out of bedrooms and dining room tables. How do we support them to grow? How do we take them to the next level? It's about fueling the collaboration and the knowledge sharing that will deliver that. And something like a fintech cluster could galvanize that. The wants and asks of that cluster, I would love to see those amazing technological innovations actually come and meet reality of the business community. How do we help a manufacturing or a food processing organisation to innovate their plant, to innovate their structures? If you ask them, they'll say, we're fine, thank you very much. But they don't understand how you could use tech to add additional productivity. If you look at one thing for our economy across the East, it is that productivity challenge. It's something the UK sees, that we can use tech in our region to do different. We can lead the way. So that to me is a real do. Don't stop creating lots of individual clusters. How do we come together as one Eastern region that everybody brings something to the table that creates the whole? If you fragment it, and it is fragmented at the moment, then we're not achieving as much as we could do if we were to start not reinventing the wheel and looking at all the different moving parts and how we can bring it all together to make one big machine.
So quite often people talk about things like the space to innovate. They talk about the community and the support, and then they talk about the supporting expertise and services around that. So I guess you would say, well, look, we've got heaps of space, right? Yeah. What about the community aspect, which is something that you focus on, and to great effect, actually, if I may say, as well as a body? Yeah, clearly you're very effective at it.
And it's bringing, I mean, the human nature, you band together. The tech sector is banding together, but it can't do it in a bubble. How do we bring the tech sector into the rest of the business community, so there's that cross-pollination, that cross-collaboration piece that allows the standard business community to see the art of the possible, and the tech community to use the standard business community to potentially road test and pilot and move forward. And that's where you're going to get the strongest collaboration. Somebody has to take the leap of faith of go, I will try that tech, let's see what we can do with it. Or that tech looks amazing, but could it do this for us instead, and adapt? That's how we grow. And that is that connection point between what's been built in the tech clusters and the rest of the business community still needs bridging better.
Yeah, and after all, you know, for a huge swathe of fintech, what we might call fintech firms or fintech adjacent firms, your membership are going to be their customers in one shape, one way or another. So that connection point that you were talking about, I mean, from a Chambers of Commerce point of view, presumably you see yourself sort of planted right in that space of bringing those two groups together.
That's kind of what we do, connecting and supporting, giving voice. So we stand ready. I mean, we've had a talking tech conference for a long time. There are people in that space now that can do it better than us, but we took the sort of the initiative in the first place. We could see we needed to bring the amazing tech to standard business and try and bring the two together for at least a few hours to talk about the art of the possible. There's loads of opportunities out there. Norwich in particular, you've got Sync the City, you've got hackathons, there's lots happening. You only need to look at the Norwich University of the Arts and their gaming programme and what's coming out of that. There's so much opportunity. You only need to look across the border into Suffolk. You've got a whole film sector. Norfolk has the space, the capacity, the ability to add value to that. How do we use tech? How do we put some really strong links into that broadens and adds value to the overall proposition that Norfolk can offer?
Well, I can't think of a better place to stop this brief interview this morning. So Nova, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.